Good morning, everyone. So today's topic will be very small. We are going to see the last topic in the filtering and sorting, and this topic is grouping. First of all, let me show you what is grouping. Grouping means grouping your table data using a separate column. For example, if you take this particular table, we can group this employees based on the skill or designation. Remember, grouping can be done only to a field or column in which the data is repeated. Means the data should be common for multiple employees. So if you take skill, the skill above is repeated for multiple employees. So similarly, if you take SAP UI5, so the skill SAP UI5 is repeated for multiple employees. So grouping should be done only on such columns whose data can be possible for multiple employees. I cannot group the data based on employee ID, and it is foolishness, or I can say no common sense if you do the grouping on employee ID. Got it? So first thing is grouping will be done only on those columns which is actually eligible for doing the grouping. What is the eligibility? The eligibility is the data should be common across multiple employees in this case. So that is the reason in the grouping, unlike your sorting, it won't have all the columns of the table. The grouping will have only the columns which are eligible to do the grouping. So in our case, the skill is same across multiple employees. Even the designation can be same across multiple employees. I can have multiple team leads. I can have multiple developers. I can have multiple senior developers, managers, right? So hope you understand what is the primary criteria of grouping. Now the second thing is the grouping is also kind of a grouping along with the sorting, but the sorting will happen on the group field. So let us see how. For example, I selected the skill and group order as ascending. Now when you click on the go, now this is grouped based on the skill. See all ABAPs and then some Java and then some nonsense and ABAP SAP UI5. So if you see this entire data, the data is grouped based on the skill and also ascending order of the skill because you selected the ascending order. For example, if I selected descending order, now you can see the data will be grouped, but you can see it is in the descending order of the skill. So somebody has entered some something like that. Anyway, so you can see the data is in the descending order of the skill. So basically the grouping does two things. It groups the data as well as it sort the data based on the same skill. Okay, all right. Now let us see how we can group the data, how this particular group titles are coming, how the data is all automatically getting grouped. SAP has made this grouping easy by using the same sorter library. That means using the sorter library itself, you can also group the data. Okay. The sorter library normally takes only two parameters. So let us see the sorter library. So this is my sorter library, new sorter, and it takes two parameters. One is the field on which sorting has to be done, then the sort order. So these two fields, this is for pure sorting. Okay. But if you want grouping, for the grouping, there is no separate library. Remember, for grouping, there is no separate library. Since grouping is also kind of sorting, the only thing is all the skill related people will be at one place. Okay. So I can say the grouping is nothing but sorting on the skill sorting on the skill, but with all the people with same skill will be at one place. That's all, right? Is it not sorting on the skill? If you sort the table on the skill, you will get the same thing, right? Isn't it? The only thing is you get an extra title. You get an extra title with the same skill as a title. Okay. So indirectly grouping and sorting both are same. For example, if I select the designation and ascending order, now the designation is automatically sorted. See, the table is sorted based on the designation: architect, consultant, and all the developers, managers, senior developers. Now what is this? Is this not sorting? This is sorting only. The only thing is all the architects will be at one place. All the developers will be at one place. All the managers will be at one place. So what I'm trying to explain you is grouping and sorting both are same. The only difference is grouping will give you a extra title. So this particular title it will give you. That's all. Okay, so that is the reason SAP has given the same library for grouping and sorting both. Now, so in the same library, coming to the grouping, there will be a third parameter which will be added. For sorting, there are only two parameters. One is sort field, second one is group order, sort order. So that is this is the field and this is the order. But for grouping, an extra parameter will be added, and that is called group function. Group function or grouping function, whatever you call it. So one extra function, a function will be added as a third parameter. Now what this function will do, what is the need of this particular function? So this particular function will take each and every row of your table. So it takes every row of your table. See, initially your data is like this. So it takes the first record, it checks the skill, and it returns the skill. So this is ABAP. So it returns the skill under a title called ABAP. Okay. So next it checks the next skill, which is SAP UI5. It returns this record under a title called SAP UI5. It takes the third record. Now this third record is SAP UI5 again. So since with the title SAP UI5, there is already a record. So this particular record simply will not create another title, group title I mean to say, but it just go and sit under the same title. Are you getting my point? So let me compare this with an example. So let's say this is a office where multiple, where interviews are going on. Multiple people has came for the interview. The interview is happening for SAP UI5, ABAP, Java, and .NET skill. Now the panels where the interview is going on, the panel is also separate. So here all SAP UI5 interviews are going on, ABAP interviews are going on here, Java interviews are going on here, .NET interviews are going on here. Now each and every member's resume was taken by this organizer. So here there is a table. So assume there is a person sitting over here. Whatever the circles I have drawn here, just assume each and every circle is a person who came for the interview. Okay, right. Now this person will call your resume, and in your resume, let's say the skill is Java, then he will send out to this panel, right? If your skill is .NET, he will send you to this particular panel. If the skill is SAP UI5, he will send you to this particular panel. And if the skill is ABAP, he will send you to this particular panel. So what is this? Is this not grouping? At the end of the day, all SAP UI5 people are here, all ABAP people are here, all Java people are here, all .NET people are here. So what is this? These are the total employees, and these employees are segregated based on their skill. Is this not grouping? So who did the grouping here? Who did the grouping here? This fellow. So what this fellow has done, this fellow read your skill from your resume and sent you to the place where he sent you to this Java panel. He sent you to the .NET panel. He sent you to the SAP UI5 panel. He sent you to the ABAP panel. So whatever the skill you have. Okay. So same thing. So this particular function, whatever this fellow is doing, so the same thing will be done by the third parameter, which is the group function. Okay. So now what this group function will do, I will explain once again. So the group function will read each record in the line. So first it reads the first row, which is ABAP. So since this is the first record, so it creates a title called ABAP, and it sends this particular record under this title. Now this is ABAP. Okay, so ABAP and then the record of the employee. Now it takes the second record, which is SAP UI5. So till now we did not get any title with the SAP UI5, so it creates another title, SAP UI5, and send this record under this title. Okay, and then next one, SAP UI5 with this particular SAP UI5 skill, we already have a title. So since the title is already there, now this record will be sent under the same title. Now under SAP UI5 there are two records. So like this, the entire table records will be looped. So record after record, so each and every record will be looped and they are segregated under the different group titles. Okay, so this entire and once the segregation is over, then the sorting will be applied basing on the skill. Basing on the skill, the sorting will be applied, and automatically ABAP will come first, and so whatever the next one is there, so that will come next, and so on. Got it? So to perform this entire process, to perform this entire thing, we need a function which can do this job. So that is where this particular group function will come into picture. Now let me write the logic. So first we need to develop the screen. So we need to develop our screen like this. So let me copy till here. This is same code, same to same code. So I'm just pasting it here. Now the code title should be GROUP group, and this should be group field, and this should be, this is also group field, and for the grouping we just need the skill and designation. This is skill, and let me add one more, that is designation. This is designation, and this is group order. This is not sort order. This is group order. Group order or sort order both are technically same, but anyway, this is group order, ascending, descending. Okay. So I just repeated the same code for the screen designing. Now let us see how it looks. So now you can see, just like sorting, we also got grouping with a group field and group order. Now under the group field, you have skill and designation, and group order ascending, descending, same. Okay. So I want to group by skill, and skill should be in the ascending order. That is the meaning. I want to group by designation and group order. So that means the data should be grouped by designation in the ascending order of the designation or in the descending order of the designation. That's the meaning. So by the way, why this group, this entire area came down, it has to appear here, right? So if you see the developed application, so the grouping is here, it didn't came down. So this is also covered in the simple form layout. In simple form, there is a property called columns L. So L means large device. So let me give 3. So similarly, you can keep columns M means medium device. So there also, if you want to give 3, you can give 3. Now it will adjusted in the same row. Now you can see group has come. All right. So now when you click on the go button, so you need to read the group field, group order. So these two you need to read, and you need to create a new sorter, but this particular new sorter will have 3 parameters now, not only 2 parameters. Okay, so let's write the code. And one important point, whenever you have sorting and grouping both, grouping logic should take the precedence. Grouping should be done first. Remember. Did you understand what I said? Whenever you have grouping and sorting both in your screen, grouping logic should go first. Grouping should be given highest precedence when compared to sorting. So since we already written the sorting logic, this is my sorting logic. So I will write on above this logic because grouping goes first. I will give that as a comment also. Grouping goes first. So the logic is pretty simple. I'm just copying the entire code and paste it here. The only thing is I need to change my field names. So this is not sort field, this is group field. This is not sort order, this is group order. Are you getting what I'm doing? I'm just reading the data from these from these two. I'm reading the group field, I'm reading the group order. Okay. So ID group order. So this group field, this group order, I think it's better I copy this name called group. This is group field. This is group order. If this group order is 0, then and then array of sorters, new sorter. So you keep your group field and you keep your group order. So if you observe till now, I have not done anything new. I told you as part of the logic, I said grouping is nothing but sorting. Okay, grouping nothing but sorting on a particular field, right? So that is the reason I applied the same sorter library on the field on which you want to group, and the order also I pass it to the sorter library. So if you observe these 5 lines of code, this is exactly same as whatever we have written yesterday. Now the difference will come. So what is the difference? The difference is for normal sorting means this one. We are just sorting, that's all. We are not grouping. For normal sorting, the sorter library takes only 2 parameters. But for grouping, the sorter library takes an extra parameter called function. Now what this particular function will do, this particular function does the job of this organizer. this particular function will be given a input of each and every row's binding context. So this particular row context is the binding context of each and every row. Okay, let me complete the code and then I will explain. Okay, so here is the binding context of with the function, guys. So third parameter as a function. So this function I have written here. Now inside the function I am reading as of now, let's say we'll do the grouping based on the skill equals to, we know that every row has a binding context. So binding context means the binding that has been done to the row. Okay, so this binding context I already introduced as a part of F4 help functionality. In the F4 help, when you select a row, so from the selected row we are getting employee ID, isn't it? When you select the row, for example, I am selecting this row. From the selected row, how I am getting this employee ID? By using binding context. What is binding context? Binding context is nothing but the binding that is done to that row, to that particular row. So from this binding that is done to this row, we are reading only employee ID, and I'm keeping it here. Okay, if you want, you can just recollect or go to the video of F4 help. So anyway, I repeated here also. The binding context means the binding that is done to a particular row. So each and every row's binding context will be passed to this function. Just like each and every member's resume is passed to this function, to this organizer. So similarly, each and every row's binding context is passed to this function. Now from the binding context, I have the function get property and I can get my skill. And then you can return two things. 1 second.